So I made the base with some polystyrene and little boxes parts that I had. It looks horrible right now, but with the right plaster and painting, you're gonna get the point eventually. So what I'm doing as I finish the polystyrene, and I don't want to spend anything on this, I'm gonna to use whatever I have in the house. So this was the cover for the printer. So I'm going to use this as rocks. and I'm gonna attach them to the rest of the polystyrene on both sides, so that we get a waterfall. That's basically what I'm aiming at. So attach this, do a bit of printing, coloring and gluing, and we'll see how the waterfall comes out. So going on to the details, I'm making a sandy beach, and that part is the water that I still haven't done. This is milliput, so basically really cheap green stuff. I still don't understand why they need green stuff, maybe because it stays softer for longer, but for what we need to do for generally the Warhammer or any wargaming thing, you don't really need something that stays soft for longer. But anyway, this is what I use because it's really cheap, and I'm gonna start putting more details like little rocks, sand and other things, and then I'm gonna probably cover it with Vinaville. I haven't decided yet, but it needs to stick to it without being able to remove it. Also, some of them are magnetized, although I'm not sure I want to still continue doing this. They stick, but they're not extremely precise because I don't have a cutter anyway. And you don't really need them because you're not going to be bashing the floor all the time, but we'll see. So they've now been primed. Very thin layer spray paint. I use gray, it's easier to contrast with other colors. And I'm gonna start working on the bones and doing all the white and basic coloring, white, browns, blues, and then we'll see the rest. So this is the second soldier in my pirate army, which is gonna be sort of like a lot of skeletons from the Age of Sigmar turned into pirates. Will have the same abilities and same weapons, just look much cooler according to me. And this is just a follow-up to the other model that I was doing before. What I did here is use a little bit my 3D printer, my resin printer, to do little details like the hook, the several hats, treasure chest, some other skulls, a bit of treasure, gold, and then I used green stuff, or well, milliput, doesn't really make much difference, to make some dynamic changes to the model. So it has bandages coming out of the sword there, it has the two buckle head belts on the chest, and sort of like a scarfy belt on the bottom there, and then water splash effect at the bottom, and I also filled the middle with resin so that it looks like the entire thing is underwater there. So I'll keep on working on it and I'll show you the further results of this. Hopefully they'll come out just as well as the previous model. And from here, lots and lots of skeletons and water. That's a Pirates of the Caribbean Warhammer faction. Alright, so in this part, still very messy, but that's the fun of it. I painted the polystyrene or foam, whichever it is, it doesn't matter, it will have the same effect. But I painted it beigeish brown, which is kind of sand color. Then I painted the water parts in a light mix of blue and silver and a bit of green, so it gives that waterish color that I like. And I filled the craters in the sand with a bit of water, so it looks like there is splashing from the waves. All the yellow stuff, the gooey stuff that you see, is wood filling. The reason for this is that the water is moving. I want an active scene. So for now it's yellow because it's still drying, and as you can see, it's not really uniform. It's kind of like not mixing with the rest of the sand. Once it's dry, I'm gonna paint those parts white, And the sand, I'm gonna try and blend in the color to make it more wet towards more dry. And that will give the splashing water effect from the waterfall. Once this is done, start doing the details. So putting some artificial grass around the edges, put kind of something dangling here like a vine or something that covers the back so you don't see it, and the same down there. And then I'll continue making the panels and unifying them using still the wood filling that covers all the cracks. As you can see, I'm finalizing some of the models that will go in this area. These are pirates, Ossiarch pirates, and they will fit quite well in with this type of diorama. The other people that I'm going to add is probably an opposing army that will be coming down from here. Here is still not dealt with. Don't worry about the Tyranid, it's kind of like just a placeholder for something. And I'm going to add 3D printed stones, boxes, and other objects scattered around. I'm probably going to 3D print some ships, shipwrecks to put around the area as set pieces. But anyway, that's it for now, and I'll keep on working on this. So, as I said before, here is the almost completed boards. I added some of this artificial plants. I mean, they don't look that great as artificial plants around the house, but for this type of game, it's perfect. It's like a really big ivy-like little plant that's taking over a waterfall. I painted everything white where there was yellow on the waterfall, so it looks like it's an active scene. I'm still coloring the stones. They're just base brown right now, but I'm gonna put some more shades on it. I added some barrels and some trees around, so it looks a bit like something's happening. There was a shipwreck. I'm actually gonna place a couple of shipwrecks around here. And then I had a transition here where there is a volcanic area where the 40Ks are arriving. So I'm probably gonna put a portal there. This is again all painted, like the base is painted using wall paints. I didn't have to spend that much money on that paint. I had some left. Polystyrene and foam all out of boxes. And also the base is out of boxes. So basically I spent literally nothing. The colors, a little bit of red paint. I had some spray paint left from some of my masks, so I used that. And the grayish is kind of like I just mixed this wall paint with a drop of black, and that's what happens. So you get volcanic space. That's again foam cut up to look like a big rock. And these are some of my 40K Adeptus Mechanicus models. I'm gonna put more. That still needs painting. It's one of my 3D printed bots. And these are my piratey Ossiarch that I'm gonna keep on adding. So this is gonna be a very active scene between two factions from two different times attacking each other with a portal that brings people from the future to the present. And keep watching for more. I still haven't finished this scene. So here's the almost completed diorama. I just have to add some more models, which I'm still in the process of painting. But here's the waterfall, made basically out of just insides of boxes of different things that I bought, stuck together and painted over as almost a painting-like waterfall. Some plastic plants from Amazon, which are literally £5 for a bunch of 5. 3D printed scenery, like the trees, the chests, the boxes, even the stones around, like the ones that you see here in the rapids, are all 3D printed using a resin printer. This is using a PLA printer. Still has an amazing effect. It looks like an old shipwreck. And then again, parts from inside boxes of polystyrene cut out to look like volcano stones. And I just used basically the same paint as the sand. I just added a bit of black and it ended up being gray. And painted with a bit of red spray paint to do the lava coming out from this place where the futuristic Warhammer is coming out from. These are Adeptus Mechanicus. And you might have not noticed, but these are actually all 3D printed. They're very good proxy for the original Warhammer. I add my own details and my own machinery to it, so that they look like I want them to look. I like to have a bit of an original approach towards Warhammer, especially in the future type. These are not 3D printed. These are Warhammer modified, so they're Ossiarch Bonereapers, but I modified them by adding some little 3D printed details like treasures, hats, modifying the position in which the bones are positioned to look different. Even the heads looking a bit like pirates. Everyone's in pirates mode, including them. So all of these are original modified. And as a whole, you get the diorama, which is passing from the beach with a waterfall or towards a more volcanic activity area where the futuristic Warhammer are coming from and they're battling each other. So I hope this gives you an idea of how to make a really cheap diorama using literally just paint and rubbish from boxes. If you have a 3D printer, well, you can add a little bit of details there which make it even more impressive. And that's it. I hope you liked the video, and if you liked it, please like and subscribe. For more of these videos, I will continue and make more dioramas, more modified models, print more of these. And, I have an entire collection of 3D printed ones that I'm trying to modify to look different from the original. For example, the Tyranids here have been modified to look like symbiotes, like Carnage of Venom, and united with a bit of necromantic armor, which makes them look more metallic-y and technological than they are. These are Adeptus Mechanicus, again, proxies. I 3D printed them, modified them to look like how I want them to look like. I also have some Thousand Suns prints, which I'm still working on. And then again, Adeptus Mechanicus modified prints of their tanks from Forge World. And I'm still working on this one. It's a bit rough, but it's one of the biggest models I've printed, and I'm not that disappointed with it. I think it works well. And if you're interested, at the top I am printing small replicas of LeChuck from Monkey Island. As you can see, Kyber Shepherd favorite. And that's it. End of video, and like and subscribe again, as I said, if you like this, and I'll make more.